9:31. So I think if we could please stand for a moment of silence. There's a lot happening in the world around us, and we all have our own thoughts and prayers, and I think we'll have a personal time right now for that, and then we'll follow that personal time with the pledge. Moment of silence, please. Now our pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, first on the agenda is public comment, agenda items only. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the 1/18/2023 Commissioners meeting? Okay, and then there was an amendment to avoid the aging contract and Westban Healthcare due to their inability to provide the proper insurance, items 1 and 2 in the old business.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, seeing, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to proclamation certifications, certificates. Well, Frank Linnerman. Just, how many of you recognize the name Frank Linnerman? All right. Monroe County, lifetime Monroe County person, is turning 100 years old on the 11th. And he will be honored at a birthday party that at the Elks. He's an Elk as well. But we are going to be giving this officially to him, but I wanted to make sure that we read it to you all and said it's for the record that, and we do this for other folks that turn 100 as well. Okay, this is my first one that I'm privileged of doing. So it says, I'm going to stand because it's kind of important to me. It says, Monroe County Certificate of Special Recognition presented to Frank Linnerman. And I called him. I let him know we were doing this. He said 9:30 is a bit early in the morning for him. So he'd prefer to wait till the 10th when we give it to him. His birthday is on the 11th, but it's before our next meeting, so I wanted to give it to him prior to that. Presented to Frank Linnerman, and he served in the U.S. Navy from 1943 to 1946. And also, we congratulate you on your 100th birthday and extend our best wishes and thanks for your many years of service to our community, making Monroe County a great place to live. So, commissioners, myself, John, and John. Okay. So that will be nice to be able to do that. And we, Commissioner Christie and myself, went to Middle Smithfield Township, where Wayne Bolt, David Brown, and Debbie Kulik were honored as volunteers of the year, and they were all there. They did announce that night that Wayne Bolt did receive the Volunteer of the Year award, which he will be officially presented at one of the Middle Smithfield Township meetings coming up, I think, pretty soon.
Yep.
So that was a nice night. We thank them for their service to the community as well. Okay, moving on to.
How about a motion to
Oh, I'm sorry. I always forget the motions for the proclamation.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We have to write that down. Motion. Right. New business. Okay, so under number 1, do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 1, personnel, items A and B?
So moved. Second.
First, we have a second. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 2, electronic financial transactions, ratify. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 2, items A, B, and C?
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and we have a second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, seen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to number 3, travel authorizations, approval and ratifying. Do I hear a motion in number 3 to approve the actions listed under item A?
So moved. Second.
First and second, any questions or discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 4, Monroe County Area Agency on Aging. Do I hear a motion to ratify the execution under item A?
So moved. Second.
We have first and second, any discussion or question? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Number 5, moving on to number 5, Monroe County Children and Youth Services. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 5, items A, B, and C?
So moved. Second.
We have a first, we have a second. Any discussion, questions?
I just want to explain for a second that when Children and Youth has a budget, oftentimes the budget is set by historical numbers. And what happens is that every time somebody comes into care of children and youth, they might require different services. So what we have to do is adjust the budget to pay for those services. So that's what you're seeing. In other words, we broadly allocate money to certain areas, but then once we spend that money, we have to reallocate it. So it's all within the same budget numbers, but these are just revisions to that budget amount.
Their budget's on a different cycle than ours as well.
Correct.
Which makes it a little bit more complicated. School districts are on the same, it's a different budget time of year. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, moving on to the Commissioner's Office. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 6, Commissioner's Office, items A through N?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion or questions?
Don't you want to describe G?
Sure. G is a fuel storage tank. We currently have a fuel storage tank at the annex at the courthouse. When we did our renovation, our original plan called for a generator that had a self-storage tank underneath it, but due to ordering problems, it was easier or faster for us to get a generator without a tank. So then what we had to do was replace our older tank that is outside with a new one. So that's what that $111,000 change order into effect. One of the other things that I want to point out was number C. That's a contract that we negotiation that we went with for the public defenders and the district attorneys. Their contract is set until 12/25. And you'll also see in our change to the budget amendment report, number A of $499,000. $400,000 of that is made up of the monies that we get for voter registration. It's part of the elections integrity grant. So what we are able to do is transfer money that we normally spend out of the general fund for elections and carry that forward for expenses that we have coming up. But that's because we receive money from a grant now from the state, so we can put that money back into the general fund that we spent.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 7, Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 7 under the Monroe County Transportation Authority? Letter A.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none seen, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number 8. Pleasant Valley Manor. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 8, items A and B?
So moved.
The risk of sounding self-serving, I'll second that.
Oh, well, I thank you, sir, for that. Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 9, Pocono Mountains Municipal Airport Authority. Do you hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 9, item A?
So moved.
I'll second that.
And I would like to say we'd like to welcome Steve Webster, and we'd like to thank Steve for his work on the authority as he moves on. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Number 10, Redevelopment Authority of Monroe County. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 10, items A and B?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion, questions?
John, isn't that item A a lot longer or a much longer list than we have seen in the past?
We have people here that can help explain that.
Yes, hi, Marv Walton, the administrator of both the land bank
That
and
was
the,
a lateral segue.
and the Act 157 demo program. Yes, actually, Chestnut Hill Township, 7 of those are in the Sun Valley development, which if anybody's been out to Sun Valley, they have issues with blight. Chestnut Hill Township reached out to us and asked if he could partner with them to try to clean up some of get a start on cleaning up some of the blighted areas in that location. So those are parcels that they acquired from the repository list, and in turn we're providing the demolition funds for that. It is, if you recall, earlier in 2022, the guidelines were changed to allow more than just one application per applicant per year. To me, I think this is a perfect example of how the program should work. Partnership between municipalities and the authority.
And more of the structures on those properties will be torn down and an effort will be made to sell them to Smith and Jones to build new properties.
Most of them are junk. I mean, that's why they were on the repository list to begin with. They either don't perk, too small. I mean, these are tiny lots. So Chestnut Hill will hold they will hold ownership, but they indicated that their intent is to convey them to the adjoining owners, do a joinder deed and
Expand, so they fit well together.
yeah.
So what they're also doing is picking properties that they have the blessing of the neighbor, so to speak. In other words, they're targeting certain areas
Yes.
in that area of, if I take this down, the neighbor will take it
Yeah.
in a swap. Very good.
Okay, any other discussion? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 11, capital outlay purchases. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 11, items A and B?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 12, computer capital purchases. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 12, item A?
So moved.
Second.
First and second, any discussion, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any miscellaneous? Anyone?
I have none.
I would like to bring to everyone's attention that today is Ariel Markham's last day. Those of you who know that Ariel is a hog for the limelight and loves to be picked on, especially in public places. But Ariel is our, how do you say it, our social media guru.
Yes, yeah.
She has served us very well. We have been blessed with two excellent social media people, and we said that one of the things she did before she moved on to her exciting new job traveling throughout the countryside is find a way to clone herself. Unfortunately, she was unsuccessful, so we will endeavor to replace her, and we would like to thank you for your time with us.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed
Yes, thank
working
you.
with
Well planned, John. Moving on to public comment. Oh, we have a question.
Just a quick question on the Commissioner's Office B, the mileage, when is that effective? Is it 1/1 or today? Usually you have a date listed.
I'm sorry, I forgot, 1/1. You do an amendment to that motion?
Yes, can I hear, do I have a motion to amend,
Item 6B.
to amend the motion, item
6B,
6B,
to make the effective date 1/1 of 22.
to make the effect,
23.
to make the effective date 1/1 of 2023. Okay.
We probably have to amend it. I think that was one motion that took A through N, so.
Well, that's why you're just amending 6B, I think you're
6,
okay.
yeah.
right, John? You amend the entire. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so change it to amend item 6.
I will make a motion
A
to
through N.
A through N with the change that
Under
is,
B. Yep. With the change under B to read
mine.
Reflect the beginning
January
date of January the
1
1st.
of 2023. Yes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Well, I did have a person, sir, yes, but I have a Sandy Rose here to under public comment, that's where you would be, right?
I just have a question regarding number 10, the redevelopment authority of Monroe County. The demolition funds that are allotted for that, for each parcel, is that something that goes out to bid?
The process is, the municipality sends it out to bid.
Okay.
In this
Township.
case, Chestnut Hill Township are the applicants, and as part of the application process, yeah, they need to show that they've
Put that up to public bid?
they've gone through the bidding requirements.
Okay.
Mark, help me out on this. The money for the demolition fund comes from an attachment to every deed that's filed.
Yes, every deed that's recorded in the recorder's office, $15 of that goes into the Act 152 demolition.
Thank you. Okay, Sandy Hall.
Thank you for
Sandy,
the opportunity to address the commissioners.
Do you want to stand?
Stand?
Face
Sure.
forward?
Who am I facing? You?
Well, actually,
I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah,
Very
that's
great.
informal.
Thank you.
yeah, it's informal, but it's still, people
Got
can
it.
hear you better, that kind of thing.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to address the commissioners. As you know, the Sierra Club supports a proposal to change the designation of the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area to a national park. Originally, the proposal was supported by the Sierra Club chapters in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. In August of 2022, the New Jersey chapter withdrew the support. I'm providing the commissioners with information pertaining to the issues about this particular proposal. That information includes the Sierra Club proposal written by John Donahue to change the designation of the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area to a national park. Statements of opposition from Congressman Cartwright and Gottheimer. Letter of opposition from New Jersey State Senator Oroho and Assemblyman Spacenworth, who are also sponsoring resolutions of the State of New Jersey Senate and the General Assembly. The Tri-County Independent News article on statement of opposition from Pike County. A letter of opposition from the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. A letter of opposition from the Pike County Planning Commission. I'm also including a copy of the Sandyston Township, New Jersey first resolution passed in opposition, which is sort of the gold standards for all these municipalities that followed. Also provided is a list of opposing municipalities, counties, state, and congressional elected officials in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I hope you will review this information and consider joining the others in passing a formal resolution opposing the proposed designation change. The Delaware Water Gap Defense Fund is dedicated to the protection of the Delaware and the surrounding communities. We have over 4,200 followers on Facebook, No National Park. Our website, nonationalpark.org, receives hundreds of hits every month. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization chartered in New Jersey. Now, I would just like to add that in April 2022, the Delaware Water Gap Pennsylvania meeting, I asked Mr. Donahue for an environmental impact statement. He said that, quote, "We don't have to do that. We are not the federal government." And he wants to move ahead without an environmental impact statement of this change. In September of 2022, at the Northwest Rivers, New Jersey conference, Mr. Donahue stated there will be, quote, "a prohibition on entry fees and, quote, agricultural leasing will cease." He has no authority to manage either one of these actions. Please remember that this national park will be run by the National Park Service, not the Sierra Club and not John Donahue. On September 22nd of last year at the Gary C. Pocono radio show 96.7, Mr. Donahue stated that he has the support of Congressman Cartwright and Congressman Gottheimer. He does not. The Delaware Water Gap Defense Fund has both their supports, and that statement was corrected by Mr. Cartwright's media aide the next day. On October 5th of last year in Hardwick Township, New Jersey, Mr. Donahue stated that another, quote, 4,000, 6,000, maybe 10,000 acres, unquote, will be acquired to compensate hunters for the loss of huntable land. The proposal states no private lands will be taken unless from willing sellers or donors. And to date, we have found no one willing to sell or donate their property in this project. November 2022, the Pennsylvania Sierra Club removed delvalpark.org. That was their website, and replaced it with ourpark.org. Both sites welcome visitors to a park that to date does not exist. In January of this year, the National Park Conservation Association contracted John Stover and Associates to produce an economic impact report of the Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area on the surrounding communities. The report is posted on ourpark.org, implying that the NPCA supports the designation change. Implications are not facts. I called the National Park Conservation Association. They have no position on this proposal. In January, also on the same website, Mr. Donahue posted a letter to the Delaware Riverkeeper Network questioning their opposition and implied they had been misinformed. He suggests they should reconsider reversing their opinion. I emailed the Delaware River Network and was told they will not revisit the issues. They are firm in their opposition. I also reached out to the Delaware River Basin Commission. At this time, they have no position either on this proposal. Mr. Donahue also states on several occasions he works closely with Chief Mann of the Ramapo Lenape in New Jersey on this proposal. To date, Chief Mann has never come out in support of this proposal. He has come out not in favor of the proposal. So again, I ask you to reconsider any resolution you may have to support our efforts to not have this designation take change. And I'll leave this information with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We as a group we wrote a letter stating that there was not enough information for us to make a decision at any given point at that point, and had not heard anything back. So thank you for coming and kind of updating us as to where we are at this particular point.
Thank you, I appreciate that. We have also asked on numerous occasions, we've emailed, I called the Sierra Club headquarters in Harrisburg 3 times in the last 2 weeks. I've never gotten an answer back. I reached out to numerous other chapters of the Sierra Club and elected officials. We're currently trying to get in touch with Lisa Baker's office and also Joe Adams' office, and I think we'll be working with them also on something like this. So again, I appreciate your time and your consideration.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Sandy has to leave, so thank you for coming and look.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, any other public comment? Yes, want to introduce yourself? Sandy?
Yes, thank you. I'll stand over here. Yeah, my name is Tim Sanders. I live in East Stroudsburg, and on January 18th, I emailed a letter to the commissioners inquiring about the plans to spend significant amount of ARP funding. And I brought a copy of the letter. I'm sure they've had a chance to review it. I haven't really heard back yet. I did get a response from Commissioner Lavender. But I thought I would just briefly outline what I wrote in the letter, that I said that basically that I'm submitting that some initiatives be considered in spending a really significant amount of money. And I do have a question for the commissioners at the end of my remarks, and that is to ask approximately how much money in ARP funds has yet to be, say, designated or allocated. So I proposed or suggested looking into the following 4 points. One of them is to establish or to provide funding, rather, to provide funding to establish a federally qualified health center. That is a community health center in Monroe County. The nearest such health center today is located, the nearest ones are in Lackawanna and Northern counties. Second point was to pay off the medical debt of every resident of Monroe County. And I outlined some of the information on the effects of medical debt in my letter. One of them is that it is preventing a lot of people in Monroe County from purchasing homes because of the effects it has on our credit rating. And this is not sort of a crazy, wacky idea that is actually already being implemented in some counties across the U.S. In fact, on all these 4 points, I provide examples of what has been done in other counties. So Toledo, Lucas County, Cook County, Illinois, people are opening their mailboxes and getting a letter in the mail saying their medical debt has been paid off. And it typically is purchased for pennies on the dollar from the creditors. Third point is to provide substantial funding to significantly expand the land bank program in Monroe County so that more blighted properties can be turned into housing opportunities. And the fourth point is to significantly expand the space, the infrastructure, greenways available for walking, bicycling, and just in general for the outdoors. It's been proven to have a lasting positive effect on physical and mental health. So just in closing, I would submit that there's a really considerable influx of ARP funding, not only federal funding, but also funding from the, I believe it's called the Pennsylvania Rescue Plan. And there's also a deadline for allocating the funds. I understand that if they're not allocated or designated, they can be lost. And so that was really what I was interested in finding out, and is suggesting that we really look into these things. I know I have great respect for the work of the commissioners, and I know it's not an easy thing. It takes time to evaluate and implement these programs. But I was writing to really encourage, and I think it would be of interest for all the community to know as well what steps are being taken or what is being looked into, maybe what has been already looked into and discarded as not practical, et cetera. And that was really the focus of my letter. And then I have a few extra copies here if anybody would like one. And then my question would be if there's an approximate estimate of how much money has yet to be allocated from those funds. Thank you.
And I'll take, any commissioners can speak to this. We have till December 2024 to allocate and spend the money. So we do have some time along the way to do that. Nothing is out of the question, but looking at what areas and seriously, we haven't discarded any folks that qualify. We're still in the process of looking and seeing where that fits best for the community. Don, you want to speak?
No, of the approximate $33 million that we've got, Tim, one of the positions that a county or a municipality can take, and I would encourage you to also shoot one across the bow of the municipalities and the school districts, because in Monroe County, those entities together received significantly more money than the county by itself did. So the county seems to be the touch point of come to the county and see what they're doing, but you could ask similar questions of each municipality and each school district. But one of the things that we suffered through with COVID was a significant loss of revenue. And one of the things that's a proviso of this legislation is that you can use all or a portion of the money to replace the revenue that you lost over the 3 or 4 years of the pandemic. Our estimates so far are that our lost revenue is in the range of $20 to $24 million. So of the 33, conceivably 20 to 24 of it could be used for, excuse me, the replacement of lost revenue. In addition to that, we have allocated around $1 million to help fire companies in the county replace the radios that are biting the dust even as we speak. The program there, I think, is a good one in that heretofore, each fire company would have been responsible for replacing its own radios. Under the proposal that we're working under now, we provide a third of the funding, municipality provides a third of the funding, and the fire company is still on the hook for a third of the funding. But our third of that total amount, we estimate to be about $1 million. Other than that, we've got some water and sewer projects, infrastructure that we're working on, and we've also, when I say allocated, remember, we don't have to say how this money is going to be used, but in thinking through it, we've allocated about $2 million for workforce housing, realizing that without the ability to keep and attract moderately paying jobs in moderately paying, I don't know how to say that, but I'm not talking about finding money to provide money for the chief of any one company, but the front desk clerks, the maintenance workers, et cetera, are finding it incredibly difficult to find a place to live in Monroe County, partially caused by the swelling of Airbnb and other rental programs that exist. So we've got about $2 million. Well, we've got $2 million earmarked for that. And the rest of it, we've probably got requests for 100 million of the 33 million, but we're toying with everything else. And Sharon has said, the only thing that I'm aware of that's etched in stone at this point is the fire company radios. But we do anticipate using a significant portion of it to replace the revenue that otherwise we'd have to make up by tapping the residents' pockets to through increased taxes. So it's very iffy at this point. And as when it first came out, it was even iffier, if that's a word. But as we move forward toward the end of this year, we're going to need to pin down where these funds are going to be spent. And certainly you've come up with several attractive options.
Is it fair to say that we're pretty well secured on the fact that we need to upgrade the correctional facility HVAC?
Mhm.
So that's another definite. Some of our buildings, the correctional facility is aging, and we have to make sure that we stay on top of that as it ages. And this is a perfect place to help with that as well.
Not only that, but the water and sewer, John.
Right, we have our own water and sewer. We have a sewage treatment plant out in Hamilton Township in that vicinity. We also have 2 water towers, a well. So all that stuff is being surveyed right now to see what can be done to bring it up so that it will continue to work for another 30, 40 years. So these are all things that we're working on at this time.
Yeah, and go ahead. I know what you're going to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, I walked in late, so if you've covered this already, I was wondering about Pleasant Valley Manor.
No, but that's that's on our list to help with the subsidy for Pleasant Valley Manor as well. Okay, anything else? Any other question? Yes.
I just want to clarify, Mr. Morris, so you're saying go back, you're telling us we should go back, look at our municipalities, look at our school districts. And is it ARP or is it ESSER? Are they both the same, or are they delineated when we look at asking the school districts?
I'm only talking ARP money.
Okay.
Our portion was 33 million. each municipality got a designation, and each school district, I believe the school districts, when I did the analysis, were around 50 million between the 4 school districts in Monroe County. I'm simply suggesting that each of them should be accountable for how those funds are being spent, just as we will be.
Thank you. No, good point. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.